All right, so this video game. I'm gonna have to pull up the wiki page as well because I don't remember what exactly it was. I know this looks bad right now, but I think once we're in game, it should look fine. So yeah, this game has that thing of like, I think it's called like anthropomorphic widescreen, where it's like not true widescreen. It's just like kind of widescreen. Like they shove everything together, so when you stretch it back out, it's like widescreen. So I don't have it set up to just stretch it back out on my side. So it's something that I just kept off for the tonight at least. Which honestly, I've never really asked the question, but like, my assumption is that the widescreen in something like this would probably look worse than playing in 4:3 because they're just like kind of shoving detail together and then stretching it back out, where it's probably better to look at it in its original resolution, but I'm not sure. There's also the flicker filter here too. And like the menus definitely look better with the flicker filter off. But in game, I think it blurs it in the way that's like, you know, for like a CRT kind of thing, maybe, or maybe it's like to, you know, I think a flicker filter was like was intended for like digital displays to try to like reduce this kind of like, I don't know if you guys can see it, like almost like vibration effect when you turn the camera and stuff. So I don't know. I will get used to it, but if it hurts your guys' eyes, just let me know. I'll double check just to make sure this is what I want to do. I kind of wish there's like easier toggle rather than digging into the menu. Oops. But yeah, I think it just like softens everything basically. So everything looks like more soft visually. But I like my video games clear, buddy. So, all right. I still need to pull up this thing though. So let me pull this up. I have no idea how to fast travel in this game. I have no idea how to get around. We're gonna learn together here. You remember, I'm open to getting some tips on how to get here. I think maybe there's just a teleport from the crystal though. Yeah, that does not look promising though. So. We are at a city called a port, though, so maybe that means it'll be fine. Final Fantasy XII fishing. All right. Final Fantasy XII fishing minigame. It is located at the South Bank village of the Dalmasca Ester Sand. Okay. Let's look at the world map. Get an idea of how far away we are. Yeah, there's Wester Sand. Okay, Ester Sand is right over here. Can I warp here? Is that what's happening right now? I think so. Okay. I think this is right. Okay. So we are here. There's a whole area we haven't gone into. And where was it again? The South Bank Village. So like right here. Okay. Well, I can see those things. Can I warp somewhere? Oh, no. Also a question of, I don't know if there's a fast travel system in this game. So, might be a journey. All right, I guess that's the next question. Does Final Fantasy XII have a fast travel system? Fast travel. Okay, what is this article? Oh my gosh. All right, this says the best and worst things about the Zodiac Age, which tells me probably there is no fast travel in the original Final Fantasy XII. The fast travel option in Final Fantasy XII is an absolutely brilliant feature that completely addresses the issue the fan had the majority of the games wandering and searching. Okay. getting the impression there's no fast travel in this game. Okay. I don't think there's fast travel, so this will truly be a journey to fishing. So we need to go... So we need to go from Balthium Port, from Sorobi Steppe, I don't know how you pronounce that, to Titch Uplands, the Fawn Coast. This is a port. Maybe there's a boat. And maybe we can get to the fortress. All right, let's evaluate this area. There is like a place here in the middle of the water, which tells me probably there are boat things happening in the game. There's probably some boat movement happening. Passage and aboard leisure craft. Might shop and enjoy your flight. Okay, for those who are eager to reach the destination, we also have ships with private cabins in which you can sleep and rest till your arrival. Okay. So it sounds like this is probably the place. You know what? Surprisingly, I think I like this game with the flicker filter on. Maybe it sucks. I wish the menus could have the flicker filter on, and the rest of the game didn't. But it is pretty janky when you turn the camera. I mean, that kind of looks like it. I mean, do you do anything for me? Okay, a separate counter serves the individuals departing via private airship. Is there any more individuals who look like they would be flying? Okay, these are counters. Okay, we have a private airship confirmed. Okay, Okay, we need to go to here. Awesome. Okay, I'm glad we didn't... Okay, go to the hangar gate. Okay, he's already going. I'm glad we didn't go and try to walk across an entire continent to get there. Curious, like, at what point in the game you get the airship, so. All right. So we need to go to the South Bank Village. So where are we? How do I just look at my map? I don't want the world map. Cast some magic on yourself, buddy. Bubble. Yeah, it's a select button. Okay. So we need to go north. Dude here. Caved in with a crash, and the boss is still inside. I guess that has nothing to do with this. Sorry, buddy. Althea's got 2 times HP, though. That's what's important. Or no, Ash does. Okay. What is Lyra? Oh, no. Ah. Looks like we're configured to kill things, but they are just dying. So, while we're on the journey to the Southlands, I will say this. I did not beat this game, really. I kind of beat this game. I indeed was the one holding the controller, but I had a really hard time playing through this game at the time because I was bad at RPGs. And so I basically gave up on the game at some point for a variety of reasons. One of them being I just preferred to play Final Fantasy XI. Anyways, still just heading up to this side. So when I heard my brother-in-law, had basically like broken this game and just played through it, I was just like, hey, look, I am completely divested of this game at this point, and I just want to like mark it off my list, basically. So I just basically had him like build me a real nasty build. I think he asked me to go like farm some things for him, so I did go farm some things. And then he was like, all right, let me just make you broken. And then now, like, the characters are just like, you know, I'm not gonna say that, you know, I could like take on the super bosses in the game or anything like that. I think we kind of did what we could with what I had, but like I don't think it's anywhere near like you know, keep creating the map buttons select. Okay, so we just need to go to the right. I don't think it's like anywhere near like anything crazy, but you know, I don't really feel like I personally was the one to finish this game. So I think part of me wants to go back and play through this myself. And I probably would still play it more actively, like the way he set it up. And I mean, to some extent, this is the appeal of the Gambit system, right? Like where the Gambit system lets you just kind of like let everyone just kind of do their own thing. And so the game basically just plays itself at some point, right? So, all right. I'm going to guess probably the dude at the pier. He looks like he's somebody that's probably fishing. Rascal. Hello there. I'll never forget your help with those cat toys. Okay. That's a good start. I've got my son piloting the ferry and I have a lot of time with it. I thought about taking up fishing, but I don't have a rod. Do you have any other ideas? All right. What do we do about this rod? Okay. We need to go back to the place we were just at, apparently. Fetch quest time. When you go back to Balhenheim Port, which I think is where we were at. Which I guess the question is like, how do we fast travel now that we're out here? Does this crystal help us? Teleport. Okay. Is this the right port? Okay, so there's fast travel in this game. What are people? Why was there like a bunch of articles saying there's like no fast travel in this game? There's like airships and there's teleport crystals. What's up? What's up, buddies? Maybe they're just like, I want to be able to travel at any point, basically, no matter what, rather than just when you have a crystal, basically. All right, so we need to look for. Let me see what we need to look for. There's an area called the Aerodome, and there's someone called the Fishing Enthusiast. Is the Aerodome marked on the map? Yeah, does not seem likely. Port Winch. Bugabugaba. Party Pirate. Is this more port? I think it's more port. Man, I have like no recollection of any of this area in this game. Like, I assume at some point you were like told to come here, but like I said, I have no recollection of this game in general. Bazaar Goer, Hawker. We're in the marketplace, so probably. I think in the bottom left-hand corner it should say the Aerodome when we get to where we need to be. Maybe. That guy's fishing. All right. Bahamut, I'm a shipwright by trade, so I know a bit of the sea, but I've never heard of a place by that name. That fishing rod. Oh, you noticed the rod was made specifically for catching Balfron catchfish. It's a rare work of art. This is hard to get hold of than it is a masterwork blade. To hear some tell it. Perhaps you are wanting a rod such as this. Sorry to disappoint you, but there's little chance of that. I want any rod. I just want to fish. Oh shit, we're just stealing his fishing rod? So it says, run to the entrance and back to the same spot. And then it says the fishing rod will be against the wall. Okay, well I don't think that's the entrance they're talking about. Let's run all the way down here, I guess. And this doesn't work, we'll go through the zone line. Alright, well we're just stealing his stuff apparently. Alright. Spawn the thief. Which he might have been a thief, actually. I don't remember. Away we go. Alright, so I think there's the teleport crystal back here that should take us back to South Bank. Right? Yeah, okay. Right up. It's in the center? Okay, there it is. It is really interesting, like, how Final Fantasy XI, like, this game is in some ways. Okay, we're back to South Bank Village or something like that. Masca Esterlands, I think that's where it was. Okay. Give him the fishing rod. Are we good? Thanks, boy. Can I fish now? Well, what do you think? Not bad, eh? Like a proper fisherman, if I do say myself. Time? Yes, it's time. Okay. All right, before we get into this, just a quick reminder. A couple of things about King of Fishing. We turn it on. One, here's our ranking board. Currently, Animal Crossing Wild World is the best fishing minigame we've played because of its kind of more unique, I think, fishing mechanics in a lot of ways. Also, fish variety is good. Things like that. Yakuza 3, also very good. Very arcadey fishing minigame. Ocarina of Time, kind of not the greatest fishing minigame, but I really appreciate the depth that, like, the fish AI seems to have and how they react and things like that. And they do feel like they are just kind of like living fish having a good time in that pond. And then Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure, I do appreciate Big the Cat and his big adventure, but I felt like it was just a little too clunky to really be a good one. So tonight we'll be doing Final Fantasy XII. Here's the rule set, though. If we do this, bam, turn all these off. Don't look at that. Need a better way to do this, but it's fine. The rule book. We have 2 rules right now. I'm open to adding new rules, but the longer we get deeper in, the harder it'll be to reconsider any rules for this, I'm sure. The 2 rules are 30-minute sessions. I had some questions about that last time. I was like, really, is this valuable? But I think it did, we did start asking interesting questions about the games as time went on, I feel like. So I want to get a good look at Vaughn here real quick. Somebody was like tweeting recently about like, Vaughn's face is so good. I want to see if that's like actually good in the PS2 version or if it was like the HD version. So, I am appreciative of Vaughn's face, but I would not say it's my favorite. Anyways. Second rule, game rewards won't be considered. So any rewards you're going to get from fishing aren't going to be important, though we do have like kind of, I think, a consideration for the progression and stuff that comes from a fishing game itself. There's just a dead dude here on the beach, apparently. So his name's number 381. It's like a prison break thing or something. I don't know. There probably was a prison at some point in this game. I seem to have some vague memories of that. So those are our 2 rules. Sorry, you're not seeing it on screen because the rules are on screen. Fine, though. All right, you didn't miss anything. There's a dead guy just hanging over here. Also, I'll re-show you Vaughn's face because you didn't get a chance to see it. Dead guy, Vaughn's face. I think acceptable face, good PS2 face. Not my favorite. All right. Business out of the way. Let's get fishing. I will not hear any sound. I probably will turn on the music briefly just to hear if there's unique fishing music and what that fishing music sounds like, just because I can't hear it right now, so... Hello, my boy. Come from Old Russell. How does it work? That's what I want to ask. Listen up. Here's what I need you to do. Your job is to signal what kind of fish you see I've got hooked as fast as you can so I can reel it. So we're not fishing. We're telling this guy how to fish, which is interesting. I'm curious if that will like actually show up in gameplay at all, or if it will just feel like that's the case. Also, the other thing I'm thinking right now is that if there's sound cues for this fishing minigame, this might not work out very well. So I might just have to turn the speakers on, and if it's annoying, let me know. Hopefully it's not too bad. Okay. I think I think you largely shouldn't hear the speakers from my computer. Hopefully. All right. See what you say. You see square, triangle, X, O, fish on the line. Okay. You signal it to me just like that. You got to be quick and precise, or that fish will get away. And the tastier the fish, the longer the signal too. Nothing to it, right? I'm kind of curious what it's gonna look like. Okay, multiple fishing locations. Interesting. All right, takes out. Hop to it. Let me just take my headphones off because I can't hear anything anyway. You ready? Let me know what's on the line. Be sure to use those signals I showed you. Is this gonna be like quick time events basically, or down X O square? Oh, okay. All right. You know, kudos from the start of this. Definitely is a more unique fishing game. Not feeling that it's basically just a quick time event. Okay, we get bonus for... That's a cute scene. I like that. I like this. I like this cutscene right now. Okay. We only care about the fish. All right. Oh, I didn't start the timer. Oh, crap. Let's say 3 minutes have passed, maybe. I just need a timer on things. Stopwatch? Yeah, we'll just... 27 minutes left. There we go. You might hear an alarm come through, but that's okay. All right. I'm curious if the different fishing holes are things we need to find otherwise. I might pull that up on the wiki to see, but for now, let's just focus on what we got in front of us right now. But I wonder if this is going to get harder here, or if this is always going to be the same difficulty at the same location, basically. So basically, if you don't miss anything, you always, or it seems like you always get a bonus at the end too. Again, not considering the rewards, but I think we can at least consider the idea of how you get a bonus reward, maybe. Like, it is a mechanical part of it, but it's not something I'm focusing on. Okay, I'm curious about these fishing locations. What's going on? Okay, in reviewing this, we will get more fishing locations from just playing, so I'm okay with that. We basically, from the first one, it said get 5, oh shoot, no, dang it, 5 perfects, and I thought I was advancing the text box there, so I pressed X, even though you don't advance the text box in this mode, so, oh well. But it's alright. So 5 perfects, and that will unlock the next area, it seems like. This is a nice looking game, I will say. I'm curious if this was changed at all in the remakes that came out later. I think all those are based off the Zodiac job system versions. I kind of wish they had like a toggle in those. I don't know if they do. I don't think they do. I think I've had this discussion before where like it would be nice if they had both versions of the game available in the remakes rather than just the Zodiac job system one. But I know most people prefer the Zodiac job system. This is the fastest I've seen a fishing work as a minigame. Yeah, you do catch a ton of fish. Your eagle eyes allow him to catch it so fast. The water stone. All right. Up to it. I think if I were picking this game up randomly, though, I would probably assume that this was the only fishing hole I would get until I did something else. Okay, I'm glad I did that. I pressed 2 buttons at once, so I wasn't scared. Wasn't sure which one was going to get picked up. Like, my assumption would not be that fishing more would unlock more fishing holes, per se. I would think that, oh, I need to go find other fishing places at other locations, is I think what I would think. Not that that's necessarily a problem, but... I'm glad it's like a unique fishing game, though, even though it's mostly just like QTEs, though. But I kind of appreciate them just... This is probably the easiest way to implement a fishing game, honestly, but I kind of just appreciate that it is like not like any other ones we've played so far, so... I'm trying to think of other fishing minigames I've seen that have had like quick time event stuff. I feel like it's been like in the middle of normal fishing minigames I've seen QTEs, but not like ones that are based entirely off the QTEs. I will say I've seen simpler fishing minigames. I would like to potentially talk about it and add it to the list later, but Final Fantasy XI's original fishing minigame was very simple. However, there's a lot of complexity to the gear-oriented aspect of it that would be hard to discuss, I think. Because the fishing rod you have, as well as the gear you have equipped, although mostly there's like only kind of one set of fishing gear you could really wear, maybe 2 sets, but the fishing rod itself definitely mattered a lot. So, all right, we should have a new fishing zone, I think, now. Midstream, all right. All right. Basically, this looks like the same place, just they made a little more extra graphics. Oh. Okay, well, wasn't expecting R2. That's a weird way to lay those out. Alright. I appreciate the increased complexity to this. Just more buttons kind of thing, but... Alright. How much time we got left? I think a different area would have been nice, but... Not sure, there might be other different areas. No. Ah, dang it. All right, I'll just fail the downstream here real quick. Let me just kind of look at this. Okay, so the next one is after 5 perfect midstreams. The next one after that requires something else. We'll see if we need to consider that. Okay. And then where's my time? Okay. For now, we'll just aim at getting to midstream. I think there's something nice about like a fishing minigame that works with like the game's engine in some ways. Like I can kind of appreciate that almost, if that makes sense. Admittedly, this isn't like, you know, built into necessarily like things that are happening in this game, I suppose. But maybe it's like a resourcefulness feeling of just like, oh, we don't have time to build something crazy, so what can we do that's going to be interesting? Actually not sure what first Final Fantasy game had fishing. Piece of water magicite. Gotta do that 4 more times. It is kind of funny to think about it as just like you just need to put in quick time events perfectly 5 times in a row, though. Welcome to the Balan Wonder world. Do a bunch of QTEs perfectly in a row. All right, we messed up. I'm just gonna burn this one. Yeah, you don't even see any fish. Yeah, as someone who's just trying to progress, though, it definitely discourages you if like, and part of this maybe is cheating from pulling up a wiki, right? I don't know for sure. I don't know if pulling up the wiki was a bad idea. Maybe we went too deep into the fishing progression here. But like, because knowing that it has to be perfect scores, I definitely am like, oh, now I don't want to bother if I fail. What? All right. Yeah, I don't know how people feel about this game nowadays. It feels like it kind of gets lost in the conversation about Final Fantasy nowadays. Not saying that it's like, you know, the underrated Final Fantasy. I think there's just so many Final Fantasies that it's really hard to... And honestly, in like some ways, it's maybe for the best. Like, I feel like it's really hard for many Final Fantasies to stand out nowadays. Or rather, the values of each game, I think, feel different enough that, like, they're not super easy to compare to each other, right? Like, this is maybe one of the more distinct Final Fantasy games, honestly. Not only, like, mechanically, but also visually. I mean, like... I pressed R2, dang it. But, like, mechanically as well, or, visually, like, it kind of looks close to Final Fantasy X in some ways, but, like, it definitely doesn't really feel like it has that, like, Advent Children kind of aesthetic to it or anything like that I feel like most Final Fantasy games kind of evolved into. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It does kind of feel like just like a slight offshoot more than like a complete deviation, so. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to pick up a PS5 this year for Final Fantasy XVI, though. I wouldn't be surprised if I get one. I would like a slim version of the PS5 to come out though first, if possible. The latter two, 12 and 13 specifically. Yeah, and I think it's also like just coming out at a time when I feel like the U.S. market sentiment was kind of turning away from Japanese games and stuff like that too. So there definitely was a feeling when this game came out of just like, oh, this feels different than what people expected in some ways, and disappointed some people because of that. I would be curious to go back and go read some like contemporary reviews actually. Ooh. Ah, damn it. I did press it. I actually heard the sound of me pressing circle and it didn't register it still. So I'm hoping the PS2 doesn't have like an auto like soft reset or something, because I'm just like smacking all these buttons at once. I do like that he takes it as like a team thing. They don't disparage you specifically. They're like, ah, man, not our day, huh? I kind of like that. The team effort. even though I'm the one who fucked up. Okay. I have lost count of how many perfects we've done, if any. Well, we definitely have gotten some. I just don't know how many. Last one always scares me because it doesn't seem like it. I can't tell if it's there for like longer than the other ones or not because it's not really moving. I'm scared I'm gonna mess it up and feel like a dummy. Fish scale. Get me the upper stream. All right, come on, upstream, upstream. Or two. Okay. Yeah, Japan doesn't know how to make good video games. Sorry. Yeah, definitely that kind of era for sure. So, admittedly, this game went through development hell as well. So, I just don't remember there being anything like offensively bad about this game. Although I do remember some people not liking that the game in some ways kind of played itself if you set it up the right way, right? And I guess like 13 baseline also had that too, right? Because of the auto battle system, which I turn off in those games. Which I don't know if is a bad thing that I turn that off or not. Sometimes I feel guilty when I kind of work against the default design for a game. Like turning off auto aim in Lost Planet. Because I feel like what that's really trying to tell you is that like aiming is not important in this video game. Please don't try to be precise. Like just movement is important. And like back in the when I initially was playing shooters, for sure I would look at that and be like, that's stupid. Why wouldn't you aim to shoot? But like now I've played a lot more shooters that are more based around movement over aiming. So upstream. Different dirt, at the very least. But want more visual variety, I feel like. Admittedly, we're not going anywhere per se. We're just like in this pond, right? I think we're technically in different spots, but it's just not very noticeable. Billfish, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, Peach Beach Splash is what I think of. Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet, stuff like that as well. I played Lost Planet with aim on. I don't remember why. Lost Planet 2, sorry. Because I feel like even at the time, at that point, I kind of realized it was probably better to have aim off. I think everybody else in the group had auto aim turned off, and I felt like a pressure to turn off auto aim. Okay. So personally, I feel like realistically, I'm gonna take a guess. So basically, to unlock the next part. Dang it. To unlock the next part, you need a specific thing. I don't know what that thing is, if it's a fish or if it's something else. Let me see if I can do a little research here. I know I said that I maybe shouldn't have done as much research, but... Okay. So there are 2 more fishing spots. However, from what I'm reading, it requires you to go fight a boss Gilgamesh and get a drop from him. And then use that drop to fish up the next item, which will then unlock the fishing spot after that. So I think this is going to be it for what we're doing. So potentially there are 2 more fishing spots that could be interesting, or they could just be the same thing in different spots of this lake and then different drops, basically. So, not that there's anything wrong with that. I do think if I can, I want to think about this more from like the perspective of I'm casually playing this video game and I'm going to play this fishing minigame and, you know, have a good time with it, but may not like dedicate myself to it, right? So I don't think, if I was playing this video game normally, I don't think I would go off and fight Gilgamesh for whatever item that is. I guess I could check to see if I have that item already. And take a strong guess I do not, since it sounds like it's probably an optional boss fight. Oops. But we'll take a little glance here. So the item's called Matamune, and it is a side quest item, so... Okay, so basically we will get a message if we have it from an empty bottle. So, sounds like something we won't be touching tonight, probably. So we will continue our fishing expediture thing. There's something relaxing about this fishing minigame, I will say. As simple as it is. Gosh. And I do like the pace of it, as we mentioned earlier. It is a fast-paced fishing thing. Much faster than, like, Animal Crossing Wild World, even. Which we kind of praise for being fast, I think, as is, so. We don't see any fish. Maybe we should check to see if there's any fish graphics in the menu. Any fish? We got fish scale. I'm not sure where these fish show up. Okay, common fish, delicious fish. Okay, so we're catching things and they're being called things. But they're not, even the fish in our inventory are not categorized as them. They're just become generic delicious or common fish. Which makes me feel like the fish I'm catching you know, I can read their text, right? Gosh dang it. I can read the text, but I definitely don't... To me, I don't care about what fish I'm getting. All I care about is completing the quick time event. We also get the empty bottles too. 30 billion empty bottles. This entire village is just hopped up on... Whoops, I went downstream on accident. Hopped up on... what's it called? On booze that they're just rolling into the water, apparently. No recycling here. The earth handles the recycling in the water. This is going to be a hard one to rate. I feel like. I'm not sure where this is going to go. do love this little cutscene here. Good little cutscene. I like the little moment with Ruskell. Like, yeah, we make a good team, you and me. I like that this is partner fishing and not just solo fishing. I don't know if in real fishing you would ever have a spotter. If that's a real thing. Like, I don't know what I can see that he can't. Right? Unless he just has, like, bad eyes. Not that the realism of this situation matters all that much. Yeah, I would say it definitely falls in its own little category. Messed up. It does have the vibe of a fishing game, I will say. In my opinion. Like, it does not... It's not executing as a fishing minigame. But you're just like, you know, hanging around, filling a little hamlet, right? And this dude's just like, you want to go fishing, man? I know you gotta save the world, but hold up. Fish I trot? They're out. They're out there. We can get these instead, buddy. Praying grinnell. But I don't want to, like, gatekeep fishing minigames to some extent, I think. I think there are some cases where we'll be in some weird situations, like when we mentioned earlier with, like, Mario Party minigames and stuff, where, like, it's kind of fishing minigame, but it's kind of its own thing. Although, honestly, mechanically, some of those fishing minigames and some of those Mario Parties probably play more like fishing minigames than this. But, you know, it's kind of... Oh, man, I did downstream on accident again. But it's kind of, you know... Yeah. Just, like... button up. But at the same time, I feel like I don't have a strong investment in what's happening here. I will say... Again, not worried about what the fish are being used for. However, it does, like, Ocarina of Time still has that problem where, and again, this might just be our experience, where we caught the biggest fish immediately, and then it was like, at that point, I don't know what's next, right? Where this, at least, you're getting a steady supply of fish, right? Like there's no right or wrong fish to catch right now, at least. I'm sure, like, in some degree there is, but, like, we're just kind of getting a variety of fish. But I think the biggest thing is that because none of them are represented in any real way, I don't care about those fish either way. So, at the same time, even though that game struggles with, like, running out of a goal immediately if you get the best thing immediately, at least in that case, like, you know, you still have some fishy connection there. For this one, I just text on the screen, basically. I think we have 30 seconds left, so I think we will hold off on the rest of this trip. So I do appreciate our man here. Fight the catch today. We make a good team, you and me. All right. Fight the catch. We'll enjoy this moment here briefly. I think this is my favorite scene of the fishing minigame. Sitting there looking up at your buddy while you're fishing. Yeah, flavor text, basically. So. Alright. It's over. Probably 30 minutes of fishing. We did have a little bit of a oopsie-doopsie there, but I think that was a good length of time to think about this minigame. So let's go ahead and pull up the trophy board here. Populate it. I'm missing one. Yakuza. Okay, let's go ahead and copy. And we need to paste a duplicate. There we go. Get it in there. Okay, properties. Final Fantasy XII. Now, I don't know if it matters. This is baseline Final Fantasy XII. So, there could potentially be other Final Fantasy XII stuff going on. Compared to Sonic Adventure, I think Sonic Adventure has more stuff going on for sure. I do kind of come back to Sonic Adventure, Big the Cat Adventure, Fishing Time Extravaganza. Just did not feel good to play in my initial assumption. I took a lot of time trying to figure that minigame out, and it did not feel good to play. You do get some pretty detailed fish, though. Before we finish, can this go any higher? Does this beat out Ocarina of Time? I think no. Okay. So I think we have excluded everything above this list. So I think it is just this game versus Sonic Adventure. This game, even though it's super simple, I think there is some satisfaction to getting like a full set of perfects. I do like the speed of it as well. Which one would I rather come back to? To relax, Final Fantasy XII, that's for sure. If I'm only going to play it for 30 minutes and not know, like, anything else about it beyond, like, what vague memory I have and the tutorial that they put there, I think Sonic Adventure is mostly a frustrating experience for fishing. Personally. Obviously, I think the more time you spend with it, the easier it can get to control that, and the better it can get. And so I'm not saying that as a review of Sonic Adventure as a whole, or Big the Cat's mode as a whole in some ways, because Sonic Adventure is a unique situation where Big the Cat is not just a fishing minigame. Big the Cat is a big adventure on his own. So we kind of perverted it into a fishing minigame. But as a fishing minigame, I think Big the Cat is not particularly good. Alright. Sorry, Big the Cat. I think as a video game as a whole, I would go back and play Sonic Adventure's Fishing Big Adventure to play through the whole Big Adventure experience. But as a fishing minigame that I'm going to play for 30 minutes without knowing how it works, I think Final Fantasy XII was the better experience overall. It's very limited, but I do appreciate some of the simplicity of it. Sonic Adventure definitely has a lot of pros in the presentation aspect of it, and the fish themselves, and also the complexity of the fishing mechanics. But I think the reality is that I think the onboarding experience was very cumbersome for me, unfortunately, and I think that kind of killed it in a lot of ways. Like, because we read that tutorial multiple times. At least twice. And I feel like even by then I was still struggling to know what I should be doing and how I should make it work. So. Alright. Another fishing minigame on the board. I'm still like a fan of this because it makes me think about these things in ways I wouldn't normally think about them. I think that's kind of fun. I do like that this is a very different fishing minigame, too. Like, I like that most of these... I guess Yakuza 3, Ocarina of Time, and Sonic Adventure kind of have a very similar feel to them in some ways. Because it is like the actual reel and catch mechanic, right? But I like that some of these games are different. I like that they have different pros and cons and don't just all feel like exactly the same, too, right? So, I do appreciate what's going on here. I think. I do also appreciate what's going on in Sonic Adventure, but for the sake of this list, I think Sonic Adventure needed to go down further. So, rest in peace. Anyways. It's holding on for now. I mean, the thing is that, like, if if there's one thing Ocarina of Time has over everything else, the fishing pond itself is a fascinating thing. Like, the fish feel like they're hanging out there, which I like. And they'll just, like, jump out of the water randomly. And it's like, okay, hello. Where, like, these other games, I don't feel like really have that. They feel more like static worlds and static fish, where they feel like they exist in the water in Ocarina of Time. Sonic Adventure comes close, but the fish feel like they're just kind of on like a track going around, where in Ocarina of Time it feels like they kind of, they'll group up, they'll go apart, they'll get really shallow water, go super deep. It seems like they move around in really interesting ways. So, I mean, kind of Animal Crossing's kind of press A when you see it nibble too, right? But there is like a level of, I guess, positioning that Animal Crossing has as well. But yeah, I think in the case of, what's it called? Pokemon, it is just like hang out there. The only thing about Pokemon is I don't think I have like a Pokemon save file that would be easy to access fishing with. So that might not happen. At least not anytime in the near future. So we might have to do a road to fishing. I'd have to do some research to see what we have to do in the case of we'd have to do with this one. Anyways, that's it for this week. Thanks for coming. I'm not sure if we'll play more Chocobo Tales next week or if we'll do something different. We did talk a little bit earlier on the stream that we might play Gundam Seed at some point, so maybe that would be something we'll do, but I'll think about it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, if you didn't go look at it, the PCFX Fan Club podcast did go live this week, so go check that out. It is largely kind of a re-covering of a lot of stuff we talked about on the PCFX podcast, so if you are interested in that, please do. But for episode 1, for sure, we're going to be kind of diving into different spaces than what we've previously discussed, at least. In terms of content stuff, there's a Nappletail podcast highlight that went up on the One Control Port Plus channel. So if you want to check that out, that's there. And then, yeah, I talked about the Final Fantasy XIII gambling game on the podcast this week, or last week as well. So, I have a panel coming up at the end of February, and then also I'm trying to wrap up the Babylon's Fall video, but it's going to be a little bit of a while till we get there, so I'll give you updates on that as we get closer. But for now, thank you so much for coming this week, and we will return next week at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy yourself.